All right, time for something heavy on this Tuesday morning. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates, Peter Kadges of the Boston Phoenix. They are the heavy hitters. You guys screwed this up today, and I may bring in replacement hitters next week, which leads me right to the NFL, of course. We're all in agreement on how bad last night's game was and how egregious an error that call was. So with that being said, Cosmo, you're Roger Goodell this morning. You get to your office, what's the first thing you do? You pick up the phone and you call the NFL refs, or you pick up the phone and call your banker to see how much money you made last night?
I think the first thing you do is you're answering all the incoming calls of outrage from other coaches and people concerned about the league. The integrity of the season, I'd say last night was probably the tipping point, not to mention the Patriots game. The integrity of this season is now at risk here because of the consistent level of poor officiating.
But what does the integrity of the league mean?
You can't really blame the replacements. They're not suited to the job that the veteran referees.
But what does the integrity of the league mean? I keep hearing that phrase. What does that mean? Are people going to stop watching it? Are people going to stop buying NFL products?
Not necessarily, but when outcomes of games clearly should have been the opposite, you get a real problem. And you get a real problem in the credibility of the league. But you're right, people are still watching. Look, that game the other night, the Ravens game with the Patriots, completely out of control for the first half. The referees had no control. It's also one of the best games I've seen in a long time. It was exciting, but it was rife with controversy. It just can't go on. So
well, here's what I know, Peter.
It can't go on.
The commissioner wants to break this referees union, and he's drawn that line in the sand. Unless the bottom line, you hit them where they hurt, the pocketbook is affected, which did happen when the replacement players were going on, and that's why they had to settle that thing. Unless the NFL's bottom line is affected, why is he going to do anything about this as bad as last night was?
He's not going to do anything right away. The first thing I would check when I get into the office would be the ratings.
Which were great, I'm sure.
And we'll see how the ratings are next week. If for no other reason, people will tune in to see what's the next horrendous call. But look, the bigger question here, the bigger issue is the NFL is a large pool of money. It's surrounded by people who want some of it. This is all about money. A sensible person, a normal person, would think there's enough money for everyone. But no, this is sort of Republican politics in the private place. Deregulate the market, break the union, make as much money as you can, and go forward.
Football is designed to be played under all kinds of different conditions, bad weather and all kinds of stuff. You know, incompetence in officiating is really not one of them. And I know these guys are part-timers. I know they have other jobs, and they're all probably pretty wealthy anyways. But you know what? Their role is so important that they really have to think long and hard about whether it's worth it to continue this dispute.
Their quality control.
Roger Goodell does not like to admit a mistake. This would be a first as far as I can remember. If he does, we'll see. Let's move on, talk about Elizabeth Warren for a second. Two-pronged here. One, after all this time, can you guys believe we're still talking about Cherokee Gate? Two, which one's going to hurt her more, Cherokee Gate or this news story about her lawyering for big business that's paying her a lot of money?
Look, I think the combination of this story today, the Traveler stuff, which is coming back, as it should. You know, people like to say that Scott Brown's got the record to be judged on, and she doesn't. You know what? She does. And that's her way of voting in terms of the decisions she made as a corporate lawyer. If you're a corporate lawyer, that means you're going to have to wear the cases that you were involved in. And she's wearing these cases, and it's not real pretty.
How does she answer this charge in this coal mining lawsuit, Peter, and on the Travelers lawsuit, where, again, she didn't side on the part of the workers. The workers got shafted, and she made a lot of money.
She takes a leaf from Scott Brown's book, and she says with a straight face and quite seriously, look, I'm bipartisan. I'm politically progressive, but I'm not anti-capitalist. There are some times when the workers' long-term interests are rooted in a company surviving, not in a short-term settlement. I believe that's what the truth is. It's complicated to get over, but I think that's what you say.
She's not going to sell that.
If her mantra is, hey, it's all about what side you're on, hey, she, from a populist perspective, and that's supposed to be her perspective, she's on the wrong side twice in two big, ugly cases.
She's got a big problem in the next debate. She better be ready for it. We're out of time already, boys. Peter Kadges of the Phoenix, Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates. They are the heavy hitters. The Fox 25 News at 8 starts right now.